I'm Alexis, aka the Soft Reader, and I'm here today to do a video where I'm going to give you guys 20 non-bookish facts about me. I decided to do this video because in 2017 I gained over like 350 subscribers. So basically I was like, okay, I feel like I should fill people in on like who I am. So I did technically do the like 25 bookish facts about me. It was one of the first videos I ever posted to my channel. It's not great, so I'm not going to link it down below. But so I decided to do a non-bookish version, so none of these facts are going to be book related. So the first and foremost important fact is for you to know is that I have 2 cats. And of course I'm going to show them to you. So my youngest cat is a calico. Her name's Hildy. Her full name's actually Brunhilde. And we were gonna call her Hilda. But there was a mix-up with like when I got her, my family like seeing it spelled, because it's spelled with the E on the end, not with the A, and them not knowing how to pronounce it. So it just became Hildy. But this is her. She is like the most chill cat you'll ever meet. She's so friendly. So this is one of my cats. And the other one is my older cat. And this is Jaeger. So obviously he's solid black. His whiskers, his paw pads, all of it's black. I'll have had him almost 3 years. Coming up this year. Yeah. So Jaeger. Named him because it's the German word for hunter, and I was like, oh, isn't it cute to have like your cat named Hunter, because like they're little predators who live in your house. So yeah, I have 2 cats. If you ever hear like twinkling or like sounds in the background, it's probably them playing with toys, because they have like toys and stuff. So if you ever hear weird noises in the background of my videos, 100% guarantee it's my cats. The next fact I have is one I feel like I mention a lot on my channel, and that is I really love music. I grew up in a very musical family, but my favorite band is a band called the Decemberists, and I just love them. I've been into them since I was in high school. I've been lucky enough to see them live, and I just love their music so much, but I also just like love them as like people. The Decemberists are my favorite band. My next fact is that I am an American. I do live in America. I'm originally from the state of Louisiana, which is the weird one, and now I live in the state of Alabama, which is another weird one. So I've always lived in the South my entire life, the American South. My next fact I feel like is one I do mention quite a lot too, and that is that I absolutely love anime. I've been watching anime since I was a kid. I mean, like, as long as I've been watching TV, I've been watching anime. And so I love it. I love keeping up to date with like new stuff that's coming out. I love to rewatch old favorites. Probably my 3 favorite anime are Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Wolf's Rain, and Code Geass. If you haven't watched any of those, I highly recommend them. My next fact is one I've definitely mentioned before, and that is that I love video games. I have playing video games my entire life. I grew up watching my brother play video games, and that instilled in me a love of video games myself. My favorite video game is Naughty Dog's The Last of Us, which is a masterpiece in storytelling, if I'm being honest. I love that game so much. Very close behind that is the first BioShock game, which is also a masterpiece in storytelling, so there you go. My next fact is that I've only been outside of the country once, and that was when I was 14. I went to Australia for 17 days, and it was an incredible experience. Australia is such a naturally beautiful country. It's also crazy because it's so big, and so like there's so many different parts of that country that you feel like shouldn't exist in the same country. Like, I'm talking about like geographically and like biomes and stuff, but they totally all do. It's just a really big country. My next fact is that it's kind of about me and somebody else. My best friend, the person who's like my best friend in the entire world, her and I actually met years ago on the internet. We actually became friends via Tumblr when we were into the same things. And so we actually became friends when I was in high school, I want to say. Or it might have been my first year in college. I don't fully remember. Suzanne's gonna remember, but I don't. And we met on Tumblr, and then we just became really, really close friends, and I actually got to meet her for the first time in person last year, and it was such an awesome experience. My next fact is that I currently am 22 years old, but on the day that you guys are seeing this is actually going to be the day before my 23rd birthday. I'm planning to upload this video. I'm pre-filming it on January the 12th, and my birthday is on January 13th. And in case you guys were interested to know, 23 years ago in 1995, January the 13th was on a Friday, so I'm a Friday the 13th baby. The next fact I'm going to mention is also one you're definitely going to hear me talk about before and in the future, and that is that my all-time favorite television show is the show Boy Meets World, which is a like slice of life sitcom from the 90s. I have seen it start to finish like 10 times. I've been watching it since I was a kid, and like I feel like I learned so much about life in that TV show, and I also learned so much about myself watching that TV show, and yeah, I love it. I adore that TV show with my whole being. The next fact is also kind of a fun one, and that was when I was younger. I don't quite remember how old I was, probably about 10 or 11. I actually auditioned to be in the movie Big Fish, if any of you have ever seen that. There's a scene with a bunch of kids where they like go into a haunted house, and I actually auditioned to be in that scene. I took acting classes at the time, and the teacher for my acting class actually recommended me to the like casting people, so I actually went and auditioned in that movie. Clearly I didn't get the part, but I'm gonna definitely make sure I tell people that for the rest of my life. My next fact is that I actually do speak Spanish. Spanish is my second language. I don't think you've ever heard me talk in Spanish on this channel because I have only ever like spoken Spanish in an academic setting. I learned Spanish when I was a kid, and then I proceeded to study it for 8 years between high school and college. I mean, I love the language, and in doing that I've learned a lot about many different Latin cultures and about Spain, and it's definitely something I love and I'm very interested in. I speak Spanish. You'll just probably never hear me speak it because I lack any confidence to speak in my second language. Kind of related to that is when I was in college, I also took 2.5 years of Chinese. 2.5 years, which is baffling because I can say like 5 sentences in Chinese. One of them is how to introduce myself, and the other one is that I like to eat dumplings. So, clearly, 2.5 years were not well spent considering I picked up none of it, which was by a fault of my own. My teacher was a great teacher. It just like at some point just stopped clicking in my head. My next fact is that when I was a kid, and then when I was in a teenager too, I had an obsession with penguins. And any person who knew me in that time will 100% laugh hearing me talk about it because I had everything had penguins on it. I had penguin soaps, penguin night lights, penguin like purses and jewelry. Like if it had penguins on it, I bought it, and I kept them all on like a bookshelf, basically, like my entire collection. And it was only when I left for college that I got rid of all of my penguin stuff. But like pretty much I had that collection until I was like 18. My next fact is that I love musicals. My grandma's been taking me to see musicals since I was a little girl. I was involved in musical theater when I was in high school. Some of my very, very close friends went on to study theater and go into theater as like a profession, and so I absolutely adore musicals. Picking a favorite for me is very, very difficult because I feel like there's so many things about a musical that I come to love, because I come to love the writing but also the lyrics and the music as like two separate entities. I mean, I'm hard pressed to not say how much I love The Last 5 Years. That's definitely one of my favorite musicals. Also, who am I kidding? The Tuck Everlasting musical is wonderful to me because you guys know I'm garbage for Tuck Everlasting. But yeah, I absolutely love musicals. The next one is a mental health related note, and it's definitely one I have mentioned before, and that was during high school, and then very, very prominent and heavy during the first 2 years I was in college. I was very heavily depressed. I took medication for it. It severely impacted, you know, my schooling, my relationships with people, my relationship with my family. It was a very tough struggle, especially my first 2 years in school. It's something I'm very open about, just because like I'm very much of the mind of like, if I can be open about it, maybe I can help somebody else, that kind of thing. I do not consider myself depressed anymore due to other circumstances in my life. You know, taking medication definitely helped. I do have anxiety though, which definitely sucks. There are definitely days for me, I do not have it nearly as bad as some people do, but there are definitely days when I like don't want to do anything because like I feel sick because like I'm so anxious. My next fact is one I know for a fact I've never actually officially said on my channel before, but that is that I do identify as being pansexual. My next fact is much more lighthearted, and that is that I don't like tomatoes. Tomatoes are easily my least favorite food on the entire planet. I've never liked tomatoes. Now that I'm older, because of health reasons, I actually cannot eat tomatoes. My body can't handle the acid that's in them, which works out perfectly anyway because I don't like tomatoes, but I've always eaten ketchup and like tomato sauce, and now I can't have any of that, which kind of sucks, but like I don't like tomatoes in salads, chunks of tomatoes. I don't like tomatoes. I don't like tomatoes. My next fact is that I do have tattoos and that I do intend to get more of them. I currently have 3 tattoos, and I have plans tentatively to get probably 4 or 5 more at the moment, and I know in time that's probably only going to grow. I've always wanted tattoos since I was a little girl, and I love them. Like as I get older, I only fall more in love with them, and like the more time I spend with my tattoos, the more I fall in love with them. So I'm a tattooed person, and I definitely intend to get more tattoos. My next fact is that my current order when I go to Starbucks is an iced chai tea latte, which I actually went and got before I filmed this video. Also, I usually never drink hot coffee. It can be 20 degrees outside and I probably will still get iced coffee. Because like a lot of times hot coffee, especially on an empty stomach, will make me feel ill. So yeah, like it'll be snowing outside and I probably will still get a nice chai tea latte. And my last fact is one I definitely don't think is unique to me, but that is that I'm currently working on my first novel. I've always wanted to be a writer ever since I was a kid. When I was in school, I actually had some poems published. They're not good, but I've had poems published. I've written short stories my entire life, and now I'm finally working on a queer fantasy novel because I'm me, so there you go. Alrighty guys, so those were 20 kind of random, kind of not random, because they're all pretty pertinent, I think, to like what you're gonna find on my channel. Factos about me. If you have 2 cats, if you order an iced chai tea latte when you go to Starbucks, I'd love to know. Or if you want to tell me a random fact about you, I'd love to hear it as well. I post videos on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye!